Hey, CK here, back with another Automation Monday. Thanks for your patience with my absence during a sad time for my family. Suffice it to say, I'm really happy to be back. In this week's Automation Monday, we're going to continue our look at a relatively sophisticated macro that I made, so we're going to pick up exactly where we left off last time. Cool, so let's dive in and see how this thing works. You might remember that we already went through this portion of the macro, and so we're going to pick up with these green objects here. The first thing that we're going to do is delete any track automation in the project. And you'll remember I've mentioned several times in this series that Logic Pro has a bit of a bug, you might call it, when interacting with Keyboard Maestro. It does not reliably expose its menu commands to Keyboard Maestro, especially if it's in a submenu like this. So what you'll see me do in my macros is first show the menu and then pick the submenu item. So that's what this action does. It first displays the mix menu and the submenu called delete automation, and then it actually picks the command. So that looks like this in Logic. Mix, delete automation, and then it actually comes down here and chooses delete all track automation. We wait until this operation has completed by watching for the front window of Logic Pro to contain this phrase, -space tracks, because there it is. The next thing we do is select and solo the first track in the project. As my retitle of this action says, I know where things are positioned in the screen layout. I know roughly where that first track is going to be sitting on the screen or in that front window. So I can tell it to start at the front window's top left corner and move 40 pixels to the right and 197 pixels down. And I'm confident that it's going to click somewhere here to select that first track. Then I wait just a tiny bit. And then I type the S key to solo the selected track. Easy as that. Next, I'm going to reset all the faders except my stems bus to 0.0. So I show my second screen set in Logic by typing the letter 2. In Logic, screen sets are basically saved configurations of windows. So right now, we're looking at my number 1. If I press the 2 of the QWERTY keyboard, it changes to this mixer layout. So by hitting 2, I know now that I'm looking at this mixer view. So that's what happens there. I wait to make sure that the front window of Logic Pro's title contains mixer, and it does. I select all tracks by typing Command A. Let's go ahead and do that. Command A. I have a tiny little pause just to wait for the screen to update. Then I type the End key to scroll to the rightmost extent of the mixer. So, for example, if I'm using this on my laptop and the screen maybe only goes to stem number 3, this will scroll it all the way to the right so that these guys are both visible, stems and up 60B. Those are the ones I'm most worried about right now. Then I deselect the stems bus by command clicking it. So you'll notice that I've colored the stems track notably differently, like very, very much in contrast to the other track's colors to make it easy for Keyboard Maestro to recognize on the screen. And I've got that little screenshot right there showing it what it needs to click on. I tell it to look for this image in the window with the title containing mixer, and don't drag it all. Just click right smack in the center of that image, and it does that with the command key held down. So let's see what happens. Command key. So that's exactly what would happen with the macro running. Again, a tiny pause to let the screen update, and then option click any of the selected faders to reset all of them to 0.0. That is a shortcut in Logic Pro. So you can see here, I've got the modifier of option selected. And here is the image it's looking for. Basically, any of the faders that is sitting at the detent, the 0.0 highlighted mark right there, in the window with the title containing mixer and without dragging. So it does that. I'll show you what that looks like. So if it finds this and it option clicks, boom, all the other faders jump up to 0.0. Great. And then a short pause for a screen update. So that's what it took for us to reset all the faders except the stems bus to 0.0. Finally, we're going to remove all of the plugins except on the 6dB boost bus. Again, select all the tracks by typing Command A, and then deselect the up 6dB bus. Once again, I've colored this distinctively to make sure Keyboard Maestro can find it easily compared to all the others, and I'm command clicking it. So I command click here, that deselects it because I want to hang on to this plugin. I just want to get rid of these guys. We pause for a screen update right here. And then I've got a keystroke assigned to remove all effects plugins on the selected channels. And that's Control-Shift-Command-X. So let's cruise over here and do that. Control-Shift-Command-X and PAL. Those were removed for us. Once again, a tiny pause for the screen update. And then we're going to use the Shift-D keyboard command to deselect all. And done. I know that I'm basically showing you a completed macro and not showing you the steps to build it. I'm not trying to be a jerk or a salesperson in doing that. I will show you right now. Here's all it takes to add an action to a macro. And then you set it up the way that you need it set up. That's it. So every one of these things that you're seeing me use, such as show menu, I can just grab and drag in and then set everything the way I need it set, for example. Okay? Keyboard Maestro is so easy to use and, dare I say, so much easier to learn than Apple shortcuts. I honestly don't understand why everyone with a Mac doesn't own it and isn't using it already. I hope that's been helpful to you and maybe inspiring. If you would like to learn more, the first thing you should do is just download the free trial of Keyboard Maestro. If you want further instruction, yes, I have classes on Skillshare, and I'd love to see you in those classes. What makes Skillshare cool compared to, say, watching a YouTube video is that you have access to me as an instructor. Every class actually has a project that you turn in and that I'll comment on. And you can ask me questions and I will get back to you personally and directly. So that's really where you find the value by taking a class on Skillshare rather than just watching YouTube videos. So I hope you'll give it a shot. I'm always happy to help.